Welcome back to Charter California Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz. Our guest, Steve Gesell, he is the Chief of Police in San Luis Obispo. And sir, so often what makes police work enforceable, effective, is whether the neighborhoods are feeling connected. And you're looking to create better connections between neighbors and the police that patrol that area. Explain.
Absolutely, you're right on, Brad. And our connectivity with the community is really going to help gauge our future success and providing the best service we possibly can to San Luis Obispo. So the same concept applies here. What we plan on doing in the next couple of weeks, so by the time this airs,
right, yes, no doubt, yes, we should be fully operational.
Up and running, is we have divided the city based on a map that we received from our GIS.
GIS means?
Global Information System, which was comprised from citizen input, identifying what people believe to be their neighborhood area.
Communities of interest.
Right, and this was seen by our city council.
Wow.
And then we received it. We've been waiting for that to occur, so we got that map. Unfortunately, we have deployment. We have to shape it so it fits our deployment model.
Fine.
So there was roughly about 36, somewhere around there, neighborhoods that were identified through the city. And what we did to fit our deployments, we combined those into 13 areas.
But that's much a greater number as opposed to 3. I mean, you had divided the city into 3 zones, downtown and 2 other zones. So you really are creating smaller communities of interest whereby there will be one officer connected to each of the 13 communities. It's your go-to guy or gal.
Absolutely, and the whole premise behind the idea is to provide another way for our citizens to connect with the police department and to reach out. It's very intimidating for a lot of people to pick up the phone, and we get it all the time. I was afraid to call the police.
Right.
And this is never going to replace the need many times to get police response quickly.
Yeah, this is not to replace 911, of course.
Right.
But I, for example, live in a community where we do have, they're called senior lead officers.
Sure.
It's the neighborhood officer. And so I had a problem, a non-emergency issue, and I contacted them. I didn't know him, but he called me back, and it was a very positive experience. And the more experiences we have with officers along those lines, the better policing you can met out.
It puts a face to the department and allows that relationship to occur, as opposed to traditional police responses. I'm going to call, I'm going to talk to a dispatcher I don't know and I'll never see, and I'll get a couple of officers, generally speaking, that I may or may not know.
What's so great about this, if I may say, I don't mean to be a partisan, but since I've lived it, is that so often you may feel like you've seen something, but you're not going to call 911 because it doesn't feel like an emergency. But if you can call someone and just kind of talk it through, this seems suspicious, it really helps with the general policing overall.
Absolutely. It helps, again, with our service delivery, and it also helps us build that confidence and relationship that we need to be successful.
Now, what about local prosecutors? I know in some cities there'll be not only a neighborhood police officer, but kind of a neighborhood prosecutor that you can interface with. Are you going to be working with prosecutors to help along those lines, or is San Luis Obispo a smaller city, and so we're not going there?
Yeah,
it's all good. No criticism intended.
We love San Luis Obispo, obviously, and it's a community that I really don't think is large enough to support that need. And we're just trying to serve this community.
So how do we find out who our neighborhood police officer
That's a great question. And this is the really cool thing is we're transitioning our parks officer position. We already have a web page up for that. We're moving that, migrating that into the neighborhood officer program. So you'll be able to go to our website, click your neighborhood. It'll get your officer's information, and you'll get your crime data as well.
Like it. Steve Gesell, I'm Brad Pomerantz. Thanks for joining us on Charter California Edition. Back to HLN.